You walk into your favorite store, expecting to grab your usuals, but something feels off. The shelves are half empty, the clearance signs are everywhere, and the employees? They look like they're counting the minutes until the lights go off for good. Welcome to the retail apocalypse of 2025. And no, this isn't clickbait. It's happening right now, across America. Iconic brands, household names, the stores you grew up with, they're disappearing before your eyes. And this year is shaping up to be the bloodiest yet. From pharmacies and fashion giants to discount chains, auto parts stores, and pet retailers, no corner of retail is safe. So buckle up, because we're breaking down 13 major retailers that might not survive 2025. This isn't just about stores closing, it's about millions of jobs, entire communities left without essential services, and a shopping landscape that may never look the same again. Let's start with a shocker. 1. Rite Aid. America's pharmacy giant is flatlining. Once a staple of neighborhoods across the country, Rite Aid is now on life support. After filing for bankruptcy in late 2023, you'd think they'd learned their lesson. But here we are, May 2025, and Rite Aid just announced a second bankruptcy. That's right, 2 bankruptcies in less than 2 years. According to insiders, entire store teams were laid off without warning, leaving communities scrambling to find another place to fill prescriptions. When a company goes bankrupt twice this fast, it's a death spiral, says healthcare consultant Dr. Leonard Yaffe. Rite Aid has already closed hundreds of locations and now plans to shut down 100 more. Some analysts predict the entire chain could vanish by 2026. And this isn't just bad news for Rite Aid, it's a healthcare crisis. Rural towns and small communities are losing their only pharmacy, forcing families to travel miles just to pick up critical medications. The fall of Rite Aid is a warning sign for the entire pharmacy industry. And for millions of Americans, the impact is already being felt. Number 2, GameStop. The meme stock legend is running out of lives. Remember when GameStop took over Wall Street in 2021? When the internet turned this struggling video game chain into a stock market sensation? Yeah, those days are long gone. In 2024, GameStop shut down over 600 stores. And in 2025, they've announced even more closures. Why? Because gamers have moved online. Over 90% of video game sales are now digital downloads. No discs, no cases, no midnight releases. GameStop's core business model is obsolete. They tried to pivot to collectibles and e-commerce, explains retail analyst Maria Hollis, but it was too little, too late. Revenue is down 22%, and in-store sales have plummeted by 35%. For a generation of gamers who grew up trading used games and camping out for midnight releases, GameStop's likely disappearance marks the end of an era. The company that once operated over 7,000 stores worldwide might soon exist only in memes and memories. Third, Bed Bath and Beyond. The home goods giant's second act is flopping hard. After filing for bankruptcy in 2023, Bed Bath & Beyond tried to make a comeback. It got bought by Overstock.com, slapped its logo back on some stores, and promised a fresh start. But guess what? It's not working. This was never a real turnaround, says retail consultant Neil Saunders. It was a branding gimmick that ignored the real problems. $48 million in losses last quarter. Store traffic down 62% compared to pre-bankruptcy levels. And suppliers? They don't trust the brand anymore. Many refuse to work with them after getting burned in the first collapse. The famous 20% off coupons? Gone. The towering walls of kitchen gadgets? Gone. What's left? Empty shelves and liquidation signs. Industry experts predict that by the end of 2025, Bed Bath & Beyond could disappear entirely, swallowed up by Overstock, or wiped off the map. 4. Dollar Tree / Family Dollar, the dollar store that isn't a dollar store anymore. Once known for the simple promise that everything costs just $1, Dollar Tree abandoned that identity in 2021, and it's been paying the price ever since. After buying Family Dollar in one of the worst retail deals of the decade, Dollar Tree has been closing stores left and right. In 2025 alone, they've announced the shutdown of 600 Family Dollar locations. They lost their identity, says retail economist Sean Barry. Now they're just another discount store, and a struggling one at that. Sales are down 4.8%, profits are squeezed to historic lows, and they're buried under $3.7 billion in debt. For low-income communities, this is a disaster. Dollar Tree and Family Dollar are often the only affordable stores nearby. Their collapse means fewer options and higher prices at the worst possible time. Number 5. Big Lots, the discount chain losing at both ends of the market. If you've walked into a Big Lots lately, you probably noticed something: empty shelves, discount signs everywhere, and barely any customers. That's because Big Lots is on the verge of becoming Big Gone. Once a go-to spot for cheap furniture, seasonal deals, and closeout groceries, Big Lots is now hemorrhaging sales at an alarming rate. Their latest earnings report: an unbelievable 13.8% drop in same-store sales, their 8th consecutive quarter in the red. Big Lots is being squeezed from both sides, explains retail analyst Neil Saunders. Dollar stores undercut them on price, and big box giants like Walmart and Target outclass them on selection and quality. The result? A company spiraling toward bankruptcy. Their stock has crashed over 75%. Suppliers are demanding cash up front, and entire stores are starting to look abandoned. For budget-conscious shoppers who relied on Big Lots for furniture, home goods, and cheap groceries, this collapse means fewer options in already underserved communities. And the scary part? It's happening fast. Number 6. Kohl's, the department store giant that's losing its grip. Once considered the survivor of the department store bloodbath, Kohl's is now fighting for its life. In 2022, Kohl's rejected a $9 billion buyout offer, thinking they could turn things around on their own. Fast forward to 2025, and Kohl's market value has plunged below $2 billion. They bet on partnerships with Sephora and Amazon to save them, says retail consultant Jan Rogers-Niffen, but it wasn't enough. Sales have declined for 6 straight quarters, with the latest showing a 9.2% drop. Margins are razor thin, just 1.8%, leaving almost no room for error. And debt? Over $4.5 billion and growing. Kohl's is stuck in the middle. Too expensive to beat Walmart and Target. Not premium enough to attract high-end shoppers. Too outdated to compete with e-commerce. In malls across America, Kohl's stores are starting to look like ghost towns. Sparse inventory, minimal staff, clearance signs everywhere. The retailer that once seemed unstoppable is now teetering on the edge. Number 7. Penney, the 123-year-old icon that's almost out of time. For decades, Penney was a cornerstone of American shopping. Back-to-school clothes? Penney. Holiday gifts? Penney. Home appliances? Penney. But now, Penney is circling the drain. After narrowly surviving bankruptcy in 2020, they've closed over 200 stores, shrinking from 1,100 locations to fewer than 650. And it hasn't helped. Department stores like Penney are fighting a war on 3 fronts, says financial analyst Simeon Siegel. They can't beat discount stores, they can't win with luxury shoppers, and they're getting crushed by online retailers. Same-store sales are down 17%, and profits? Nowhere in sight. Walk into a Penney today, and you'll find sparse shelves, understaffed departments, and aisles eerily quiet. For countless families, Penney was more than a store. It was a tradition. But by the end of 2025, that tradition might be gone for good. Number 8, Advance Auto Parts, the auto parts chain that's running on empty. If you're a DIY mechanic, you probably know Advance Auto Parts, but soon you might not see them around at all. In March 2025, Advance announced plans to close over 700 stores, nearly 15% of their entire network. They're being crushed by Amazon and AutoZone, says automotive analyst Lauren Fix, and they're drowning in debt. 7 straight quarters of declining sales, profit margins cut in half, and debt levels approaching bankruptcy territory. For mechanics and weekend warriors, this is bad news. In rural areas, Advance is often the only auto parts store within miles. Their collapse means longer drives, higher prices, and fewer choices. I used to count on them for quick parts runs. One customer posted on Reddit, "Now I'm bracing for the day they're gone." And that day might be sooner than anyone expected. Number 9, Office Depot, the office supply giant that's running out of paper and time. There was a time when Office Depot was the place to buy printer ink, paper, school supplies, and tech gadgets. But in 2025, walking into an Office Depot feels more like stepping into a clearance warehouse than a thriving retail store. The company closed 90 locations in 2024 and just announced 150 more closures this year, bringing its store count to fewer than 800, down from over 1,500 at its peak. Their customers have moved online, explains workplace analyst Barbara Thau. Amazon Business, subscription services, and direct-from-manufacturer deals have crushed their in-store traffic. Office Depot's parent company, ODP Corporation, has quietly shifted focus to B2B services and e-commerce, signaling that physical stores are no longer the priority. They're slowly dismantling the brand, Thau adds, store by store, aisle by aisle. For families who still need last-minute school supplies, small businesses looking for office essentials, or students needing tech accessories, Office Depot's decline means fewer local options and another piece of retail America fading away. Number 10, Express, the once hot fashion brand that's now an empty clearance rack. In the 90s and early 2000s, Express was the place to shop for young professionals, night-out outfits, and affordable fashion trends. Today, it's a ghost of its former self. After filing for bankruptcy in 2024, Express emerged with fewer stores and more debt, but no clear plan. Express has no identity left, says fashion analyst Gabriela Santaniello. They're not fast enough to compete with Zara or H&M, and not premium enough to attract loyal shoppers. Sales are down 12%, online traffic is shrinking, and profit margins have collapsed to just 2.1%. Walk into an Express store today, and you'll likely find endless clearance racks, skeleton crews of employees, and the same old styles collecting dust. It's like walking into a permanent going-out-of-business sale, one shopper posted. The brand that once dominated mall culture is now circling the drain, and industry experts predict it won't make it to 2026. Number 11, Party City, the celebration supply store that's running out of reasons to celebrate. If you've ever planned a birthday party, baby shower, or graduation celebration, you've probably walked through the aisles of Party City. But now, those aisles are looking pretty empty. After filing for bankruptcy in 2023, Party City closed nearly a third of its stores. And in 2025, they've announced plans to shutter another 150 locations. They're getting undercut by dollar stores, big box chains, and online party suppliers, says retail consultant Melissa Gonzalez. Party City just can't compete on price or convenience anymore. Store traffic is down 28%, and operating costs are up 19%. What used to be a one-stop shop for balloons, decorations, and party favors is now struggling to stay alive. I went in to grab some party supplies, and it looked like they were already packing up to leave. One customer posted on TikTok, "For families who counted on Party City for their special moments, the closing signs are bittersweet." Number 12. Joanne Fabrics, the last nationwide fabric retailer hanging by a thread. If you sew, craft, or DIY, you know Joanne Fabrics. But here's the bad news. Joanne is running out of thread. After filing for bankruptcy in March 2024, Joanne closed over 100 stores and slashed inventory. But their latest numbers paint a dire picture. Same-store sales down 8.3%, gross margins at historic lows. Cash reserves drying up fast. Joanne is facing a triple threat, says retail analyst Dana Telsey. Declining interest in traditional crafts, fierce competition from online stores, and the high cost of operating big stores. Insiders report that Joanne has started canceling vendor orders and scaling back inventory. Classic signs of a retailer preparing for liquidation. For crafters who rely on Joanne's huge fabric selection and knowledgeable staff, this collapse means losing the last major national fabric chain. And for the millions of DIYers across America, that's a devastating loss. Number 13. Petco, the pet supply giant that's losing the loyalty of pet parents everywhere. Petco should have boomed after the pandemic pet adoption surge. More pets? More sales, right? Wrong. Despite having millions of new customers, Petco is struggling to survive. The company is caught in a squeeze between Chewy's online dominance and PetSmart's bigger stores. Their shift toward grooming and vet services hasn't been enough to save them, says pet industry analyst David Loomis, and their debt from the 2021 IPO is crushing them. Recent numbers are ugly. Comparable store sales down 5.7%. Profit margins falling from 45% to 38%. Earnings down 32% year over year. And behind the scenes, staff cuts, shortened store hours, and empty shelves are becoming the norm. "I used to love shopping at Petco," one customer wrote. "Now it feels like they're giving up." If Petco can't turn things around fast, they could become the next big retail casualty. And for pet owners across America, that's a huge loss. Let's step back for a second. These 13 chains represent thousands of stores, hundreds of thousands of jobs, and countless communities that rely on them. This isn't just about liquidation sales or empty malls. It's about the shrinking of America's retail landscape. It's about fewer choices, less competition, and the disappearance of stores that have defined our lives for decades. Rite Aid, GameStop, Bed Bath & Beyond, Dollar Tree, Big Lots, Kohls, Penney, Advance Auto, Office Depot, Express, Party City, Joanne Fabrics, Petco. By the end of 2025, some of these might be gone forever. And the scary part? This is just the beginning. More brands will follow, more communities will be affected, and more shoppers will wake up to find their favorite stores gone. So, what about you? Are your favorite stores on this list? Have you already noticed the empty shelves and clearance signs? Tell us in the comments. Which store surprised you the most? Or which one will you actually miss if it disappears? We read every single one. So, if this video opened your eyes to what's really happening in retail, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to Frugal Pro for weekly retail exposés, and drop a comment. What store on this list shocked you the most? Let's talk about it. Let's share the knowledge, and let's keep saving money together. Until next time, shop smart, spend less, and never let them fool you again.